For many years, I wore and used the Moto 360 smartwatch. It was a really awesome thing, and I really did love this watch. It was incredibly useful and worked very well. But sadly, an accident occurred and the front panel got ripped off. Now, this is a little on the silly side, but what I'm going to do is create a kind of memorial to the watch. So I'm going to effectively kind of case it in resin. So I'm going to make a little frame for it, sit it in the middle and fill it in with resin, just as a kind of interesting kind of piece to keep. I've toyed with various different ideas for the frame for this watch, and so what I'm going to go for is basically a leather wrapped thing. So I'm going to have a piece of leather in a circle with the watch sat in the middle with resin filled inside. And so I've cut a strip of this kind of thick leather out. And so that will wrap around the circle, roughly like so. The watch will then sit in the middle and it'll get filled with resin. So 24 hours later and it's dry. It's set kind of really kind of solidly. I've got a nice kind of clean glass finish on the top. It's not quite as good as I was hoping for. There are a few kind of odd things that have occurred. There's a weird kind of bubbly artifact at the very bottom of the resin, which is a little bit peculiar. And also, as it started to set, the resin seeped into the leather. And when the leather kind of gets wet, you get a little bit of a kind of darker mark. But because it's kind of set inside, it's retained this kind of very black rim, which I think detracts a little bit from it. But it's not terrible. I quite like it. I've got it kind of slightly above the surface here, so that you can still kind of press the button in there. You've still got little bits of kind of the leather strap poking above. So yeah, no, I'm fairly pleased with that as an end result. So this is the finished thing. As an end to the watch, I'm quite pleased with it. It's a little bit kind of weird, but it's quite a nice memory of a good watch, and it kind of came together reasonably well. I think what I'm going to do now is take this home and try some, I think, clear shoe polish on this leather, just to try and kind of bring up the colour a little bit, just to get a nicer finish on that. But otherwise, I'm fairly pleased with that. It's just a quirky thing to sit on the side at home.